I'm right here. That is it. We can finish the song. No, legitimate question here. Are you a good singer?
No.
Or are you a horrible singer?
I'm a horrible singer.
I go back and forth. Sometimes I think I'm a good singer.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think I'm trash.
I don't think you're not talented, but I don't think you're going to take over the world. You know what I mean?
Well, you want like a prime example?
Yeah, if you could give me a sample.
What is it you want me to sing?
If you could sing...
anything I know the words to, anything. Except for like one of those songs that has the N-word in it. I can't say that. Not that I would ever listen to one.
Yeah. What about the...
Actually, wait, I can't say that. Yes, I would, because otherwise I'm not supporting minority communities and their music.
Thank you, dude. That's very cool
Gotta
of
be
you.
careful there.
If you could sing some pee-pee cocaine, I think that'd be great.
I don't know the words. And also, it's all like yelling and shit. She sounds good because she's cute.
Yeah.
And a woman, I wouldn't sound good singing that. Let's pick something else.
I think you're being sexist to yourself.
Let's pick something else.
Okay. Sing Adele. Her hardest song.
Dude, you're really making this difficult for me here.
Dude, I'm not going to apologize for testing your range. I'm sorry.
Except you just picked the most difficult things of all time.
Pee-pee cocaine?
What about the national anthem?
That's reasonable.
Okay, is it?
All right, I'll give you a real good lead up here, and then I want you to get into it. All right.
Okay.
Now, I'm on my knee.
Okay, Colin.
For Colin.
All right, you ready?
Go ahead.
Where are you? And I'm so sorry.
Wait, stop.
What?
You said the national anthem.
Yeah, I'm singing it.
That wasn't the national anthem.
I wanna fuck you like an animal.
There we go. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Oh. Is that good?
That was so good, dude. Thanks for that.
What suit have we not used?
I've never felt so patriotic.
Wait, we have not used this, have we? White Lantern? Brightest Day? What are you looking at? I'm looking at the screen.
I am too.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking for headphones.
Oh, you want headphones?
Yeah, I wanted to hear the game.
Oh, I didn't know. Last time you told me you didn't want to hear the game, you said, we're not doing anything. I don't need to hear the game.
What are you talking about, dude? I love the audio.
All right, 1 second then. I'll use these. These are earbuds. You take these. You take these bad boys. You take the ones I'm using.
Thanks, dude.
Okay, all right. Well,
Thanks a lot for that.
Cannot figure out what's going on here.
Thanks, man.
I feel like I wandered into the wrong classroom.
This is great.
All right.
Perfect. Now I'll just put these on, blast the audio up, and we don't have to talk the entire time.
That is fantastic. Well, it would save us on the commentary department.
Yeah, 100%.
No, I swear it's transformative because I picked a costume or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very cool.
In court.
That is incredible.
All right. Okay, all right. Somebody yanked that right out there.
That was me.
Oh.
Dude.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Shoot, man.
Dude, when I was a kid and people said that, I hated it so much.
Yeah, I think those people deserve to be assaulted.
One day, I almost brought a weapon to school to deal with those people.
Yeah.
I didn't because I thought I'd get caught, though.
Right, yeah, you would have been...
I only don't do bad things when I think I'm going to get caught.
Right, if you can get away with it, you feel very confident about it.
Absolutely.
And there's no remorse either once you let it fly as well.
Dude, remorse is a weakness.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's for soft betas, really. Which you
males.
are a part of the beta club.
That's a good point. I am a beta member at Best Buy. That's true.
Exactly. I think that's very cool of you. Dude, you know, I went back and I've recently been watching some old H3 videos. Dude, he used to be so funny.
I know.
Like in his old videos and the H3 production stuff. I loved those videos. The podcast got a little weird for me, but his old stuff from like 3-4 years ago was... I looked forward to every single upload.
You know, I'd actually argue even the first like 20, 25 episodes of that podcast were really funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't paid attention to it as much. I just knew like when the Trisha stuff, when she was
that was way later.
That was kind of bad,
but
you know?
I'm talking like the first 20, 25 episodes way earlier on. That stuff, I'm trying to figure out how to get into there. Oh, wait, I think you have to go down and cut through.
They had some good guests on, too. Like, I think they had Post Malone. They had some comedians like Chris D'Elia and Theo Vaughn. Like, they had some really good stuff going on.
They had Bill Burr.
Bill Burr, yeah.
Bill Burr mercilessly made fun of him, though.
I did. I heard about that.
That was bad.
Wasn't that like a really uncomfortable interview?
I'm doing horrible. Yeah, it was. it was pretty bad. I watched it because I'm a fan of Bill. But
I was gonna say, I feel like Bill Burr revels in that stuff, though.
oh yeah, Bill Burr loves making people uncomfortable, and he does not feel discomfort. It seems like
In any capacity.
I do not know how he doesn't. Like that man is like a titan when it comes to just pushing through a situation that should be uncomfortable. I suppose it's probably the ideology of like nothing makes you uncomfortable if you just don't give a shit what anyone thinks around you.
Which most people don't. They say they do, but
They say they don't, but they do.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was
I
gonna say.
genuinely think that he doesn't unless he cares about the person.
Correct.
Like I genuinely think that like if you or I walked up to him with a dumbass opinion, he'd just be like, "You're an idiot,"
Yeah, 100%.
and laugh at us.
But if you've heard him, like he's done some podcasts or at least some content with his wife. They're a really funny couple together too, and like he is a little bit different in the way that he talks to her. Obviously,
I believe it.
They're actually really fun to listen to. I definitely recommend if you can find a video of them talking. They're funny, and he still like roasts her a little bit, and they kind of go back and forth. But it's obviously in very good. Like there's a good heart behind it, you know.
Oh yeah, I've said it before. Bill Burr's one of those kinds of guys who could walk into my room, roast my entire lifestyle, make fun of my job, make fun of everything I do, and I would be laughing with him.
Yeah.
Because, like, you can tell, unless someone pisses him off / is actually mean to him, which has happened, almost everything he says is, like, in good faith. Like a good faith joke.
He doesn't genuinely want to. Yeah, unless you count his Philadelphia rant, which I think was well deserved, by the way.
I also think that was... Oh, my.
Excuse me?
Oh, my. I also think that though was because they were being super rude and dicks, and he was making a point.
Dude, Philly's kind of like that, you know. Like they say this is a city of brotherly love. That place is ruthless.
Maybe it is the city of brotherly love to other people who live in Philly. I don't know. Like New Yorkers are often nice to New Yorkers. It's just if you're an outsider in places like that,
they have no remorse.
it's ruthless.
Yeah.
Like Get Out, like that kind of thing.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, better than Us.
I heard Us was really bad.
I don't like Us.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. That's one of my unpopular film opinions. I think that movie is so sloppy.
Do a lot of people like it?
Oh yeah, and
Really?
honestly, that movie is the prime example I think of a movie prioritizing message over content.
That sucks, actually.
I'm trying to figure out where this.
Oh, it should be around the back, maybe?
Yeah, let's see this real quick. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So
there we
if
go.
we just do,
What?
did you see that reaction time?
That was incredibly well done. And this is on like a very fast pace, too. You can react really quick there.
Yeah, I want more compliments, please.
Oh, yeah. You have a really nice family.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, that message, or that movie really prioritizes like the message and allegories it wants to do over the plot and believability of the story.
There is such a thing as being too philosophical.
Well, yeah, the whole thing is like a big metaphor and stuff, and I don't really have a problem with that aspect of it. It's just that I feel like that is the part that was thought out by Peele, was the messaging,
Yeah.
and not like the film. Like, is this a good movie? Did I write this well?
I see.
That's kind of my thought on it. I mean, it's got like some really good music. I will say that. Just fantastic score. Oh, so there's
then... Wait, what?
that is this a different one?
That might
over
not be
here?
the same one.
Guess I don't get it.
But how do you unlock that?
That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking to see if there's like...
It doesn't look like it goes down.
No, but I was looking to see if there was like something where you had to like stand by it and then, remote battering or something.
Yeah.
It is genuinely frustrating that we don't have these solutions memorized.
I know, dude. Because Arkham Asylum, I think if we did these videos, we'd probably have 4 videos. And Arkham Asylum
we'd
would
just
be done
fly
with it.
through 'em?
Oh, no, without question. Yeah. Origins, I think, Knight probably has the toughest ones, in my opinion. But Origins trophies were kind of... I don't know. I just probably enjoyed doing these ones the least.
Oh,
Out
yeah.
of all of the Riddler trophies. These were my least favorite ones.
I think it's annoying that their excuse can be, well, he's a new Riddler, so like these puzzles aren't going to be great, but
Yeah.
that's not fun from a gameplay perspective.
Not at all, no.
Like, oh, well, he's new, so therefore it's fine. Oh, come on,
please. Oh,
I didn't know why it didn't do that.
no, and like that's fine that he's a new Riddler, but like also if you had a more lively city and if the riddles actually meant something, that would be cool too. But like, there aren't ones. Are there even scannable ones in here where like it's an Easter egg? You know what I mean? Like where you find an item that's from a villain and you scan it and that's part of the riddles.
I found tons of stuff in the world, but no, there is no riddle that you scan and it's a riddle.
See, that kind of because those are my favorite riddles in all of them because you actually you're like, oh, like those are the first ones that I go to.
I think they're especially good in Asylum.
Asylum. I like Cities too. City has some good ones.
City does. I just felt like City introduced so many Riddler trophies that, in terms of like proportionally, that it didn't feel like there was as many riddles. Because there were so many Riddler trophies in City.
Yeah, there was.
So it made it feel like there was less riddles, even though there wasn't. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I know what you mean. Well, and in that one too, they introduced the breakable environment ones that you had to get to, like the Ra's al Ghul demon heads that you had to rip off in Wonder City, and I believe there was penguins in the museum. Like there were those ones too that were just kind of tedious. I don't know. There were a couple in there that I just really didn't like. And with that one, I think their thinking was, in Asylum, I think there was 227 Riddler trophies in the entire map. So then when they get to City, they doubled the size of the city. So like, oh, well, we got to double the size of the Riddler trophies here. Plus, we're adding in Catwoman, which will add another 40. Like, we've got to have a ton more to accommodate the much bigger scale in City. I wish they wouldn't have doubled it, though. I think they could have comfortably left it at like 240, 250, scattered those around the city, had a bunch of them be Easter eggs, make it really fun, have some challenging ones, and that would have been cool. It was like 400, which I think was kind of what it was in Night too. Night had around 400, I think.
Night had less. I thought it had 240 or 250.
Really?
Yeah, it's a lot less.
I thought Night had a ton still.
It does still have a ton, but it's like your tolerance to it is so beaten down from City.
Maybe that's what it was.
Where is this? This one.
That's it. Yeah. You have to get up top there. Wow, that is tough, dude.
Yeah. Why can't he, like... So here's my question. Why can I not shoot a grapple there?
Like, you just have to, I guess, the gargoyles and then dive and see if you can get some momentum that way.
Yeah, but, like, there's not as much momentum in this game.
No. And if you dive...
1 second.
I don't think you're gonna make it, yeah. That's kind of annoying.
I'm trying to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, that's a really tough one, honestly.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm working a lot. Wow. Okay. That's gotta be it.
Here.
Yep, you got it.
Don't overshoot it.
Oh,
gosh, that
yes.
is the dumbest thing.
I hate that trophy.
This is the thing, like... Yes, I feel accomplishment when I get it, right? Because I'm like, thank God it's done.
Yeah.
But it's not because I'm happy I got it. It's because I'm thinking, thank God I don't have to do that again.
I don't want to do that ever again. Yeah.
That's not how I should feel when I solve your puzzle.
No. And that's what, do you think in Gotham Knights they're going to have any Riddler trophies or anything like that? Like, I'm sure they'll have collectibles and stuff to explore around the world, but anything like a Riddler trophy?
I think they'll do their own thing.
You think so?
I just don't think they will do that because it seems like they're hell-bent on not making Gotham Knights Arkham game. You know what I mean?
Like in any capacity?
Like they really just want it to be its own thing and not be associated with that. For whatever reason.
Which is, I mean, I guess it's fine. But if it's considered part of the universe...
What universe? It's not this universe. Remember?
I thought it was.
No, Gotham Knights is its own thing, remember? That's its
own... no, I'm thinking
Suicide
of Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking of.
Yeah, I got those confused.
I understand why you're thinking of it, though. They're very similarly marketed. You hear nothing about them ever.
Correct, yeah.
You know, I don't know what I think about about the release for this. Okay, I literally did not want to do that. I don't know what I think about the release for Gotham Knights, because I'm kind of thinking, like, you know, you and I will buy it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how successful that game will be. I genuinely hope it's very successful. Okay, and I'm not saying this out of a place of malice, like I don't want it to be. I want it to be a good, successful game because I love those characters too, but you're establishing a new universe, and even though you and I there's a thing back here. Even though you and I genuinely believe Batman is not dead,
it's on the wheel.
Yeah.
Nice.
They are establishing the universe off of the concept of Batman's dead.
Right.
We still don't believe it.
Correct.
But that's what they're establishing it off of. So you start out with our most iconic character won't be in the game. That's your start to your marketing.
Right.
And then your secondary point is, but we got Tim Drake and Dick Grayson and Barbara and Damien, or no, not in Damien, and Jason. Okay, well, who cares about those characters? I mean, comic fans do.
Right.
You know, hardcore Batman fans do, but I also know a ton of Batman fans who aren't super into the family. They like Batman, and they like, you know, a couple relationships like him and Robin or something, and that's it. They wouldn't play a game with the whole thing. I mean, or with focused only on those characters. So I kind of wonder how many people are just gonna not play it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I agree. And my concern with it, and my thinking that I think would have made more sense, is if they would have stayed with the Arkham universe, and then they would have had like those characters, or they would have developed the characters that way. So then you can have an established universe, have people that are already invested in those characters, and then you can just have it without Batman for a mission. You don't have to necessarily kill them, but you can have it where you still have the investment with the characters that Batman played with, or that players that Batman played with.
We're establishing this game
stuff.
that Batman jerked off Dick Grayson.
That is odd stuff. No, but essentially that they have an established universe, and they have characters that people are familiar with already. Just for the general audience, like, most people that even aren't necessarily giant comic book fans are familiar or have played in some capacity an Arkham game. In some capacity.
Yeah, at least they know what it is.
Exactly. And like with Gotham Knights, like I think you can still market it and it looks cool, but like the Court of Owls aren't exactly like your most well-known, villain.
It's almost like everything's targeted at New 52, Rebirth, DC fans.
Yeah.
But look at comic sales for those things. I know that they're still high, relatively speaking, but they're not as high as, like, movies or video games. No. So if that's your base audience, I just kind of am like, well, I don't know. You know, the other thing, too, is you can think, well, it'll be successful, but how about all the projects they've canceled over the years? Like, how successful does this have to be to recoup the development costs for things that they got rid of, like at WB Games, like canceling the Superman game multiple times, like pitching Superman games and getting rid of them. The Damian Wayne game that has been basically confirmed by every concept artist in the business. The
their Beyond game that was the one,
Wayne one. But there's like a minimum of 3 or 4 canceled or rejected projects that they were going to make that didn't get off the ground or partially did and never went anywhere. So it's like, how much money did they pay those workers to work for years to make different things or to not make anything?
And then to never receive the benefits of all that work.
Yeah, at WB.
Right.
I mean, I know that the thought process is probably like, well, we make so much off our movies, it doesn't matter that much, but you're still losing money in one division of your company. That's not good. So then usually what they try to do when that happens is they try and make that up elsewhere. And what I'm getting at with this is, I'm wondering if Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad's success internally at WB will be measured off of the inability to produce any content since 2015.
Yeah.
You know, like, will they take that into account, or will they do like the weird HBO Max thing where like The Matrix tanks compared to its budget, and they're like, but we got new subscribers, so it's good. It's like, I don't know. Like, I've never seen them do that for gaming ever. Maybe they will, but if we're measuring it off of, previous failures I shouldn't even say failures, but like not bringing anything to market. Maybe it wasn't even inability. That's not very nice, but like just not making anything. I don't know. I mean, how long can you pay people to not develop a game in a gaming division?
Have they really not produced anything since 2015?
Nothing DC, like in terms of like WB Games Montreal or Rocksteady.
Wow.
They've picked up and canceled a ton of stuff. But they won't even publicly say that they picked it up and canceled it, because that would be a bit embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, when did Injustice 2 come out?
Well, and that wasn't even them. That was published by them. That was made by
NetherRealm.
NetherRealm,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was
DC though, I guess it's the only DC game I guess that I could think of that may have been after that.
well,
but
and
no,
Lego
you're right.
supervillains and stuff. But I'm
Lego,
saying
yeah,
is
yeah.
those two teams though, Rocksteady and WB Games Montreal,
Sure,
those
specifically
teams
those two.
that are known for Arkham, they didn't make really anything that I know of.
No.
I guess some DLC Fortnite, like Matter of Family, after its launch and
Yeah.
stuff. So I guess you could say like Rocksteady and WB Games had an excuse to be busy until what 2016-ish, or like partway through 2016.
I think they wrapped up in December of 2015 with the final bit of DLC.
Was it December? Okay.
I think so, because the game launched in June, and then they did 6 months of content.
And you're not expected to make anything within the next year, you know, obviously after that.
Yeah.
What?
Unless you're EA, but yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know, like, so to me it's one of those things where it's like, I guess they have an excuse for a few years, but there's generally at least a 3 or 4 year window in there where it's like, I think they were expected to be making things and nothing came out.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying with its success is I wonder if it'll be measured off of that.
Which also then doesn't make sense why they went the direction that they did as far as the marketability of... I mean, Suicide Squad I think will do fine, and I think it looks... I'm actually really excited for that.
I am too, and people took me saying that I'm a little concerned about certain things in the game as I hate it, which I've never understood why they do that, but that's the internet.
Yeah, that's not really... you could be
if you
concerned and still excited to play the game. Like,
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that... I mean, the game is not going to be perfect, obviously. I think there's going to be some things that we maybe don't like, but that doesn't mean that... I love what Rocksteady has made, and everything that they've made really so far that I've played, I've thoroughly enjoyed. So I have no reason to think that Suicide Squad will be any different. But it will be a different game, and it's technically in the Arkhamverse, and it's kind of challenging a few things there, so I think it'll be interesting. I'm still very excited to play it, and I think a lot of people are. Gotham Knights, for me, is the wild card that I just don't... I'm not saying that the Court of Owls can't be a quality villain, and I'm not saying that the Bat family can't carry a game. I'm just wondering how that's going to do as far as their numbers, which is how things are judged at the end of the day. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even comics, and people will always throw around like comic sales are doing really good now. In some ways they are, but there's a few reasons for that. One, they've been hiring professional artists to bring back variant artworks that people like me collect. And two, that's a niche market though, so it's not just that.
Sure.
But two, the other thing with that is also that they're including manga sales usually, because comic shops have started distributing manga in the last few years much more prevalently. And what? What is he doing? What in the world? This man does not
What
want
is
to
he?
go.
Yeah, he's...
You know, so like when you're talking about that, it's like, well, yeah, but you can't just include things that the Japanese people made and say it's part of the comic industry. Because I've seen that go around too, where it's like, well, you know, Demon Slayer in Japan is selling more in Japan alone than American comics are combined.
Jeez.
As like one book.
Wow.
As like one thing. So it's like than most American comics combined, probably not all of them.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like when you're looking at that, it's like there is cultural significance to those things and characters in that country that we don't have here. And I think we have it in movies. Like, I think now it's been pretty ingrained, like Batman, Spider-Man. You know, these characters have cultural significance now in movies, and they have impact.
TV shows, I would say, too, yeah, and some of them.
But, like, I don't think that our physical comics media has the following to carry entire huge AAA games, is what I'm getting at. Indie? Sure. You know, no problem. But they're not going to make an indie game with these characters.
No.
So it's like you have to market. Like, do you think that the Triumph triumphs? Do you personally think that Wonder Woman game will be marketed towards just hardcore comics Wonder Woman fans, or do you think it'll be generally marketed to everybody, including fans of the movie? And because that's what I would do to get the biggest audience.
Oh, I think it's 100% for people that have seen the original movie in even 1984, because that Wonder Woman movie was pretty much widely considered a really quality movie, and some of
The original, right?
yeah, and the DCEU's probably their best film, one of them at least.
Yeah.
It's top 2 or 3, and so I think that made a lot of money and that got good reviews, that 100% was their like green light, I think, to go ahead and like, yeah, give it a shot. Because we have a prevalent quality Wonder Woman and Gal Gadot. We have a good film behind it. They're making a sequel. Go for it. You know, that I think that's 100% that was. So essentially what I'm saying is, yes, they're going for the general audience.
But have you seen that at all with the marketing for Gotham Knights? Because I haven't, for general audience marketing.
No.
Now, maybe that's what they think they're doing, and maybe I'm wrong.
But the Court of Owls is not a general public thing, though.
Not yet, at least.
All.
It should have been in a movie before. Like, if you want to make it a general public thing, I think you have to start there.
Correct.
You have to start with the thing easiest, most easily accessible to the general audience. Because here's the thing, if you put it in a comic, you can go online and steal the comic for free, obviously, and people do that.
Yeah.
But most people aren't going to do it. They're either just not going to bother because it's expensive, or not going to bother because they have to wait 3 weeks between every issue, and you only see story progress like every 4 or 5 issues.
Right.
You know, it takes a while. So a lot of people just don't read comics for reasons like that, and a lot of the original fans of comics feel like it's gone so far politically in directions they don't care for that they don't buy them anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a huge fall off of people who just don't want to buy comics because they feel like it's literally just like a political thing now. Like, for example, that dude who wrote, and I made fun of this too, and people got mad at me for this too, but like, that's just literally old hat at this point. That guy who wrote Captain America, and he wrote in Jordan Peterson as like the Red Skull.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he didn't exactly do that, but it's like the parallels were very obvious.
It was so obvious, yeah.
It's like these people, I don't care if you have a message, that's cool. Like Star Trek, I always use that as an example. That all of Star Trek has messages of like empathy and treating people correctly and, you know, trying to be open-minded and not treat people poorly based on who they are, but oh, I see what I have to do. But it doesn't feel like it's preachy and in-your-face garbage. And I think that a lot of people feel like a lot of media now is that, especially comic books. And
which they didn't. I'm not saying that you can't go in a political direction.
Oh yeah, Watchmen did.
Yeah, 100%.
And it was amazing, like best-selling graphic novel of all time, partially because they reprinted it 50 times to fuck over Alan Moore. Yeah, but still, you know, like it's one of the best-selling of all time.
I would say Dark Knight Returns even has some political stuff in it.
Very like fascism and liberalism and a lot.
There's tons of really good stuff out there that does go in that direction. But I think it's about how it's done and how it's presented, and that it's not oversaturated in the market either. That it helps to tell a really good story, and that doesn't always seem to be what the goal is now. And I think that's why it's turned off a lot of people. Is it's not necessarily going into a topic that's interesting to people or that they haven't heard a million times. It doesn't actually question things more so. It more so points out the obvious in the form of like, hey, this is meant to be groundbreaking. I've made this character this. Now, go buy the comic. And I don't think that really attracts an audience at all.
No, like...
There's a big difference.
I try not to just go back to this example because I think it gets a little annoying, but when they just make a character gay, for a good example, instead of making a gay character. Like, for example, I think characters like Midnighter and Apollo are often ignored at DC. They could be bigger names. And this is the funniest argument to me, is I had people say, when I said that, well, they're not big names, so, like, obviously they're not going to use them. They have chosen the direction they want to market. There's a reason why people only care about Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman in the general public out of DC, and Harley Quinn and Joker and some of those other people. Guess why? It's because that's what sold, so they decided it wasn't worth... interesting. So they decided it wasn't worth actually, you know, marketing those other characters. It was more easy to bank off of the ones, right?
The big names, yeah.
Don't you think that, like... I mean, if you look at the concept of Batman and Superman and stuff, I love them. They're just as silly as, like, Midnighter and Apollo or Spider-Man or any of these characters. They're all, like, you know, these fantastical characters in fiction. You don't think they could have done something with someone like Midnighter or Apollo? They could have. They don't want to market those characters because it's harder. It's easier to be like, I don't know, Tim Drake's gay now. I mean, or bi or whatever.
Yeah,
it's just easier. It really is. You can't deny that it's easier to take an established character, change character traits about them to try and drum up, you know, sales, mean, they've done this all the time. It's like when they throw in a random love interest. I feel, and people misunderstand like the criticism. They think it's like, oh, well, you don't like gay people then. No, it's that I don't like unnecessary changes to the status quo that don't actually make for a better story. Like when they had, after the War of Jokes and Riddles for Batman, they had Batman like lose all of his money, and they acted like it was going to be an interesting story because now Batman has to try and be Batman without his wealth, but it wasn't interesting and it was quickly resolved. Or when they were like, well, Alfred died, now Dick Grayson will inherit his wealth and it'll be a huge deal. And it's like, but it's not. He just gave it all away immediately. None of it matters. Comics do this so much where they make an insignificant change that they act like will be significant and then they immediately go back on or do nothing with, and it's just to sell that few issues that they're pushing.
Yeah,
that's all it is you know. And it's kind of like one of those things like where like if they're saying like we need more girls to be interested in Scooby-Doo, more girls and little kids, so let's put Scrappy-Doo in here just cuz like we don't actually have an idea for this character. Let's just do it to try and drum up sales. It works for a while, but eventually portions of your audience get really resentful of you because they think you don't care about the characters you're writing, because you don't want to have lasting consequences or you don't want to tell a story, you just want a sales boost. And I think that people have caught on to that, especially in the comics industry, and they just bailed. They don't care anymore, and you're not getting them back. So now it's like, what do? Do you fix that problem for new audiences? That's what I'd do. Or do you double down on that stuff because that's your audience now? I don't know, but I've noticed that sure seems to be like a thing that they're doing.
Well, and that's what I wondered, because I thought that comic book sales were down and they've been steadily going down more and more. Have they actually bounced back at all?
They have bounced back some too. It goes back and forth. Like some months they're really good, some months they're really bad. They certainly, proportionally to the amount of people that are buying media, are not what they once were. And a lot of people skew the statistics. Like, they're making more money now than they ever were. Money is worth less. Of course they're making more money. It's called inflation. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's all kinds of stuff with that where people will purposely skew the numbers. And people do it the other way too, where they act like nobody's buying comics. That's not true either.
Yeah.
People are buying comics, but it's just a question of proportionally how many. And I think no matter what you think with it, it's pretty damn obvious that it could be a lot more, especially in the age of superheroes. Those numbers, they should be off the charts, you know, because these characters are more relevant now than they have ever been. There have been so many live action Batman and Spider-Man. Look at, I'm not going to spoil anything here because, again, I don't know who hasn't seen it and who watches this stuff, who hasn't watched it, but look at Far From Home.
No Way Home, you mean?
Yeah, No Way Home.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. But, like, look at No Way Home, like, how much money that's made and how culturally relevant that was. Or something like Endgame. Look how culturally relevant those things were. Those should have been pushing Avengers comics off of the shelves faster than they could be made. They're not.
Right.
They give temporary little sales boosts, and then they go away. They don't have the cultural staying power that they had, at least in the writing. And also, I can't find this Bane's Field HQ. And I can't find this other thing. Do you want to look around for a minute?
Yeah, I can try, yeah.
I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm not trying to go on like a huge preachy tangent about it. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that they've turned off for a lot of reasons. And logically speaking, those sales should be higher than ever. You have digital sales are now counted. People can get the comics without ever leaving home. You know, there's all kinds of things that should be boosting comics along with those movies and video game relevancy and everything. And why do you think that people are gravitating towards the movies and the video games and not the comics now? There is cultural stuff like people are too lazy to read. That is a thing. But another reason for it too, I think that might be the HQ.
Yeah, that's right.
I think another thing about it too is just that you've turned that audience off and they have a general perception of, oh, I'm going to get a better product from the movies or the games. It's more accessible, better written, more talented people are working on it. I don't have to worry about like a big political thing because I don't like that in my stuff. I just want to enjoy my game. So they just don't bother. They just don't want to bother. And I don't know if you can really get those people back or not, but I know right now the amount of people that you see online, even in online comments, like in things I talk about or on other websites, because I do look at some of that stuff for my job, it's overwhelmingly negative about the comic industry. There's stuff going on that's really good right now, like the Daredevil run that's been going on right now is fantastic in Marvel, and there are good comics being made, but the problem is that they do sell better when they're good, but they could sell so much better if you didn't have this, one, cultural divide, and two, perception that comics are somehow now, like, politically divided. Like, everyone, the general perception is everybody who writes them is a woke liberal. So then even if that were true, when those people write a good story, a lot of people on the other side won't read it because they're like, I don't want to support that person. And it's become more about this big divide and messaging and all this stuff than it is about the movie or comic, which I don't like that either. If somebody's like a ped and they're making something, I'm not giving them money for that.
Right.
Even if it's good.
Right.
Because I'm not going to fund their lifestyle of hurting kids.
It's the principle of it, yeah.
But if somebody is the exact opposite aisle or side of the aisle as me, like, I'm not a socialist. If a socialist writes the best comic ever, I'm going to read it. You know, it's ironic that they're selling a capitalist product. But,
right.
But I'd read it, and, you know, Alan Moore was very political, and there's a lot of things Alan Moore believed and believes now that I disagree with, but that's nothing. Don't just ignore that.
So it's got to be outside then.
You know, there's a lot of stuff that he believes that I just don't, and I get why he thinks it for the most part, or why he did. Now I think he's a little nutty. But I wouldn't, like, boycott his works or something because he's different than me. It's not like he's committing crimes or something. And I think that all of this stuff wrapped up together, that perception of who you're supporting, the perception of who's writing the comics, the perception of it's preaching at you, not telling a story. I think a lot of those things have turned people off to that industry for better or worse. And sometimes it's accurate and sometimes it's just like a cried wolf thing, but they still don't buy the comic, so
Correct.
I don't know.
Correct.
I know that was probably like a 5-minute thing.
No, I don't think it's unreasonable. I think that it's something where
I think you have to make it there and then to the next one.
Did it count? I think I might have lost it.
No, I think you did it. You did it.
Oh, I got it. Okay, good. Nice. And I think there's one over here too.
Epic.
Yes.
Yes, Queen.
Yes. Yeah, man, it is kind of a bummer. And, like, the state of comics for me, like, there are still some really interesting comics for me out there that I've really enjoyed, and that, like, with the new DCAU stuff that's been coming out, like, I've been enjoying that. I haven't been on top of it the last couple of issues and the new issues, I think, but I've been really enjoying that run, and I think it's been really fun. But I think there are a lot of comics that I've turned off. Even the hardcore, the people who love these comics, you've seen it kind of die off a little bit just because of the need to feel to push an agenda on comics. I think has been really tough for people, like you said, with the perception that comics are perceived to be very woke now, and that's not necessarily what they were. Like, it's fine to have a message with your comic, and I think that's just fine, and I think that's the point of writing a lot of the times. You're trying to send a message, but it's also like the message gets a little bit repetitive and it doesn't even make sense to a lot of people. And also you have half the country, in the case of America, where if you're going with that super woke direction, that you're alienating half of the country in that regard. So,
it's interesting too, because I think that people on both sides need to have, do you want to do a crime scene or something?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Have we gotten all of the Riddler things?
Let's check it out.
Wait a minute, what do we need to do? We should finish them.
We should. I 100% agree. Let's see. So, is it in the Most Wanted? Is that what it is?
Yeah, let this... Do we have to do some of the, district... Oh, yeah, so look at this. So there's Amusement Mile, Pioneers Bridge, and in Enigma's HQ. Do we need to do...
What do we... It doesn't say we're missing.
Maybe we need to go there and hack the thing? Like, maybe I didn't do that? Isn't there a thing you have to hack, like that satellite dish?
We didn't do all of them?
Like that. Do we have to hack these types of things?
I thought you already did, because they're red if you don't.
Oh. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. What is...
So maybe it is... Maybe we do have to do the crime scene next, because that's...
Or unless... Oh, what's down there? That. Right there. Are all relays destroyed?
I think so. How do you? Because if we go here, network relays. Networks destroyed. 7. Yeah.
No, wait, only 15 out of 20 Enigma packs though there.
So should we go to
Or extortion packs? Why don't you go down to Bowery? District progress 96%. So we need to figure something out. It's red here. What is it though?
And then Park Row. It says 0 for 1, 0 for 1.
Why don't you turn on detective mode and see if there's any kind of informant? Maybe we missed an informant?
Yeah, let's check.